you on MMA Mania.
All right. Good with Liam on the line. Go ahead.
All right, Liam McGeary, how are you today, sir?
I'm very well, man. How you doing?
Doing great. I'm glad to talk to you again, and I want to do a little bit of housekeeping before we talk about this fight with Linton Vassell, because when I last interviewed you, you were originally set to face Chris Fields, then it became Vladimir Filipovich, and then right before the show was to take place, it became Brett McDermott. So I want to know how frustrated you were with all those quick changes of opponent.
I didn't give a shit, mate. I just was looking for a fight. I didn't really care who it was stood in front of me. Then the outcome was always going to be the same. So I just needed to get someone in there so I could do it to him.
Well, you certainly did do it to Brett McDermott, especially with those knees. But did anything about him surprise you in the first round? Because it looked like you got tagged at one point.
You know what? It was early on. It was trying to get settled. I zigged when he zagged. It's as simple as that, you know. These things happen in MMA. It's one of them. I just walked onto a jab of his and he knocked me off my feet. That guy can hit hard.
Yeah, he can, but you hit him even harder because, like I said, those knees pretty well diced him up. Wow, it sounds pretty loud over there.
Knee, man.
You at a press conference or a party right now?
I'm walking through town, man, and I'm a little bit busy.
I understand. You got to get this in while you can. So.
Oh shit, they're filming something here.
Wow, yeah, sounds like it. So, let me ask you now, with Linton Vassell, I had a chance to talk to him a little earlier. He said this fight, wow, I don't even know if you can hear me over that.
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay.
You on the speakerphone, man.
All right. So, with Linton, he said that this fight, even though there's not a title on the line, it's basically the king of Britain between, light heavyweights. How do you feel about that?
I mean, yeah, he's saying this. I've seen him write that down a few times. To me, man, I don't really care. It's a fight is a fight. You want to sell it as the King of England? Sell it as the King of England. I'm just going to turn up for a punch-up. That's as I do always. I've always turned up to fight. I've always turned up to finish guys. I don't like judges' decisions, and I've got all my friends there. So, to me, I'm just having another fight in front of all my mates.
And having a fight in front of all your mates, it's an excellent opportunity now because it's the co-main event moved up, but that also means Michael Page doesn't get to fight in front of his mates. So how do you feel for him knowing that he loses?
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. It's a devastating blow for him, but at the same time, you gotta, enjoy the opportunity to move up the card a little bit.
I was looking forward to watching all these fights having a beer.
Yeah, that's true. You could have had the fight, and then you could have sat back and watched Michael Page have his fight. But at the same time...
Exactly. That was what I was planning.
At the same time, you've got to be looking forward to having a beer after you get the win. So what's your expectations for how the fight's going to go?
Same as normal, man. An exciting fight and a finish from me.
What about Linton Vassell style-wise? Because we've seen him go to decision now with 2 fights in a row with both Emmanuel Newton and Francis Carmont, both tough fighters in their own right.
Linton Vassell's style is he likes to just take people's back and try and finish from there, and if you just go for the rear naked choke the whole time, and somebody can defend it, and you're just riding out on the judge's decisions. But, I mean, I train with the best in the world in New York City. So I'm used to having big people on my back, and I'm used to shaking them off and then doing what I want to do to them. So I'm prepared for what he has to offer and more. So, like I said, I'm looking forward to having a good fight.
So it sounds to me like you're almost saying it could be deja vu of the Phil Davis fight then, is that he might spend the whole time... Wow. When it gets loud, it gets really loud. But what I was trying to say was, it might be a lot like the Phil Davis fight. Yeah,
is this any better?
It might be that, like...
Is that better, is it?
Yeah, that's a little better, yeah. With Phil Davis, he tried to constantly take you down, and I don't know if he was always going for submissions, but he tried to put you on the ground a lot, and it sounds like you think Linton might have the same strategy then.
Well, if he has the same strategy, at the end of the day, with the Phil fight, I forgot my jiu-jitsu. I forgot who I was. I forgot what I was about, and emotions kicked in. when emotions kick in these fights, it's you kind of lose your head, you know. And that's all I did with Phil Davies. I let the emotions get the better of me, and it took me off my game. Now I'm back. Now I'm back to the person who I was, back in the tournament, back to being that bad motherfucker that fucking likes to hit people.
Well,
bring blood, pain, and destruction.
Blood, pain, and destruction will be definitely fun to watch for the people there at the SSE Arena and live on Spike TV. But I also wonder, you talked about emotions, and Linton said that he wasn't going to be emotional for this fight. It was going to be just business. So is it just business, or is it a little personal?
No, it's not personal. It's a friend of mine. That's what I'm saying. There's no emotionals. The emotions were in my title defense against Phil. So that's what happened there. But with Linton, man, I'm just going in there to have a punch up with my friend. We're going to put on a good show. We're both looking forward to it. So you can always have a good scrap with your friend and have a beer afterwards, you know.
Right, but yet you're going to be a bad motherfucker in there, and sometimes it feels like you got to get a little personal if you really want to be a bad mother.
Hey, you know, why have you got to get personal?
I mean, just to bring out the emotion, because if you really want to.
Hey, how many times have you got drunk? How many times have you got drunk and had a play fight with your friends?
True. I can't dispute that. I mean, sometimes...
Exactly. There's no... You training partners. You train with your friends, and it can get heated in there, and you can have a good punch-up with your friends. But you're still your training partners. And you know, at the end of the day, me and Linton are going to put on a very entertaining show for all our friends, and then we're going to get on with our lives afterwards.
Right on. Now, you talk about all your friends being there, and that is one of the key factors in this fight. It's at home, SSE Arena in Wembley, so how thrilled are you to be taking this fight with a good mate right there and a very friendly crowd for both of you?
Finally to fight in London, I can't wait. You know, all my friends can make it to London. They've got no excuses now. They don't need to do that 7-hour flight over to America. So yeah, no, I'm happy. I can't wait to be putting a show up.
I asked Linton who he thought would get the bigger reaction, and he said it might be mixed boos and cheers, so I imagine you think it might be just about the same.
I don't know. I mean, I spent a long time over in America, so again, at the end of the day, the fans can just say what they want. It's just me and him in that cage. So we're definitely going to put a show on, that's for sure.
Do you think there's any irony, and you've talked about training in New York and all the time you spent in America, that the New York Madison Square Garden show is coming up and you're not on that card?
Nah, because it's like 6 weeks after this fight, so I already fought in February, I fought in November. I want to rest. I'm tired, man. I'm getting old.
I understand that, but at the same time, I'm sure you were thinking in the back of your head, man, if I could just get Phil at the Garden, I'd fix all those mistakes, because I haven't forgotten who I was, and I'd go out there and school him.
Yeah, the thought did pop into my mind, but that's just the fighter mentality in me. Then the alcoholic side of me is just like, now let's go for a piss up.
I hear you. So, I'm sure you still want to go to that fight anyway, and perhaps challenge the winner, since you'll probably be coming off a win. You know, it'd be a good position for you to get in there, and either if it's Bader or Davis, just hand them a challenge right there on the spot.
For sure, man. I mean, I want to be in front row and watch this. Like I said before, I hope they've got an entertaining show. You know, I hope that the fight is entertaining as what it should be for a title defense, for his first defense. And he's coming off, he lost to it last time, I believe.
Yes.
So now he wants to get his own back. You know, Bader's come in. Phil's been with Bellator for a while, so I'm sure he's going to want to make a stand.
And do you feel like...
I know I would.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, right. With that last win, he's looking to get that one back. That's one of the few losses Phil had before he left UFC and came to Bellator. But I'm sure Bader feels like he's already got his numbers, so he just wants to go in there and run it on him again.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going with Phil on this one. First, I want to kick the shit out of him and get my belt back. So.
Right, yeah, you want to beat the guy who beat you. That's understandable. And it seems to me this is the number one contender's fight. Whoever comes out of this is the man to be the next man after that fight. We're gonna have to talk. We're gonna be talking afterwards and figuring stuff out. Right now, one fight at a time. One fight at a time is the plan. So, anything special that you've worked on in training between the Brett McDermott fight and this one, or is it all just gonna be basically the same? I just got better, man. Seems like that's all you pretty much do. So, I mean, at the same time, I always wonder. You talk about getting back to your jiu-jitsu roots, and I know with the team in New York, that's always the focus. You got a lot of good people, a lot of good grapplers there.
Yeah, we've got a good team in New York.
Absolutely. So, who's going to corner you for this fight?
Jason Strout and Mike Jaramillo.
So, when does everybody make the trip over? Since obviously, it's home turf for you, but everybody's got to fly over to be there to all meet up in London.
Yeah, we're coming over on Sunday, I believe.
Excellent. So, is the weight already on point? Are you prepared right now, or are you going to have to do a final cut once you get there?
Man, I've never had to worry about weight cut. I'll go sit in the sauna for 10 minutes and I'll be fine. Might have to skip breakfast a day of weigh-ins, but that's about it.
Well, all right. Step on that scale then, and you can have a nice English breakfast when you're through. That's a good plan, right?
Cannot wait. English bacon, hash brown, beans. Yeah, we're going for it.
All right. Do the proper English. But then also do us a solid and give us your plugs and sponsors and anything you want to promote before I let you go today. I always want to give you that time.
Big shout out to my sponsors. As I've Watchers, Gamma Labs, Future Legend, Cryo Freeze. They've always had my back since day one, so massive, massive shout out to them.
Indeed. And on social media, I want everybody to follow the once and future champion at Liam_McGeary. That's all social media platforms, right?
Yeah, Liam McGeary 1 on Instagram.
And
I don't tend to be on that Twitter that often.
Right. You're going to be too busy getting ready to pound in a good friend to be tweeting too much. So we'll let you be the focus there instead of on social media. But Liam, I always appreciate the time, and it's going to be a huge fight May 19th at the SSE Arena. So we can't wait to see it.
No.
All right. Thank you.
Take it easy, man.
You too, mate. And thanks, Dan, as well.